guys are joining me today. You know, it is our final broadcast at our old office location. It's crazy that we are in just a couple of days pulling up stakes here and moving, but we're not moving too far. We are moving actually just across the freeway, not far. We're staying here in Redwood City, California. There we go. I can see all of you guys. There we are. I can see you on Facebook. I can see you on YouTube, and you can also find us live on the Facebook Live page on our website. Alrighty, so this is it. This is the final one. When I join you again, I think it's on Wednesday the 30th of January, we'll be in our new location. There's a lot of work to get done between now and then, but we are really excited and super stoked to have a new space. Well, I'm Kate, and I'm in front of the camera today. Karen, our webmaster, is helping us behind the scenes, and she's going to help us get all set up here, and then we're going to work it out, play around with all of these things you see on the table in front of me, and then we'll sign off until next time. So Janice is on Facebook and on moderating on Facebook, and I see our Gita coming as beadshop.com on our Facebook feed. So it's fantastic to have you all here. It's great, great, great. And Karen, did you want to shout out to people?
I did. I wanted to thank you all so very, very much for all the responses in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
It really does help me a lot when I'm coming up with new ways to make shopping for you all more efficient, faster, easier, and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff, yeah.
Thanks so much.
All of those of you who know, we have a great Facebook group called the Bead Table, and many of you, we did a little shout out from Karen. There's a little picture of Karen working hard there, and so many of you gave some great feedback about our projects page.
I wasn't expecting that.
Right? I know, Karen was all, that's the best. It was awesome. We got so much feedback from you, so we really appreciate it. So Karen has taken all of those and looked through them. As you know, in addition to this move, coming later on, either in February or March, we're getting so close. We have a wonderful enhanced web experience for you guys. Karen's been working really hard on a fresh web design. It's not going to be, don't let that strike fear into your heart, though, you guys. All of the basics are still going to be there, and we're not taking anything away. We're just adding great new features. So Karen and I, when that's up, Karen and I are going to come on and do a live and walk you through all of the new stuff with our new website. So you know what? When it rains, it pours here at beadshop.com. We're not afraid to take it all on, so we can't wait to share that with you. So that's going on. That's what's shaking. Yeah, Drea's calling you the web mistress. It's really true. But you are the master of our web, and all you survey with that for sure.
I'm excited for you guys. It's very fresh and clean and open, and just, you could see everything a lot more easily.
A lot easily, yeah. You think the photos look good now?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys. I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be good. So let's get actually right to our projects today. We're not going to specifically do one project. This is more of an informational kind of broadcast. So I've got a bunch of the buttons out here for you to check out, and we're going to look at how I use them in a few different projects. I'm also going to show you how I did it on a Free Tip Friday a while back, working with wire with these buttons. So we're going to have a little bit of a refresher with that as well. Okay, so let's turn things around and take a look at what we've got. So let's do it. Great. So I'm going to get the camera in position. So thank you for bearing with us here for just a second while we do that. And then Karen, you can tell me. I should have put my glasses on though before I tried to do this so I can see what we're doing. Okay, there we are. Let me, you know, I don't know why it's not. Oh, unlock it, Kate. There you go. Now we lock it in.
Come on, Grandma.
Yeah, come on, Grandma. Let's get it. And I'm going to plug in the power just so that we don't run.
That's like perfect.
Look at us. Who's perfect, Karen?
Should we put more light?
So yeah, let's see if we can get a little more light there. You guys, one of the new things that's super exciting about our new space is, as you know, you've heard me go on and on about it. A lot better, great. You've heard me go on and on about it. It's a new Facebook Live studio that's totally just being dedicated to our live broadcasts and other broadcasting events that we have up our sleeve. So it's, I can't tell you how excited I am about that one. And Karen, before we get started, you had told me what this, it's the new Setting the Mood that I'm looking at.
Yes.
I've got it called Blue Moon. It's up there. Okay, great. I've got that. Okay, let me get back to what we've got here. So I'll take the iPad over, and you guys, it's going to be a little Facebook Live. It's going to be a little bit Free Tip Friday, but it's all going to come together. So I'm going to be working our close-ups as well. So hang in there with me. And Kara, did you grab me? Yeah, I do. I've got the E6000. Perfect. All right. Well, I'm going to tighten up on this. So bear with me here just a minute while I do this. And we'll get this show on the road. Okay. So here I've got some of the new buttons, or all, not some of, but all the new buttons here. And I'm going to try, let me see, it's a little dark, I think. So just, whoops, sorry, I'm going to try, it's kind of a rainy Monday here. So it's a little dark outside. So I'm going to try and brighten this up just a touch. So bear with me here, you guys. Just a little bit, as I can see. Can I see it get a little bit brighter? That doesn't look too bad. What do you guys think? I think we're looking okay. And I'm going to brighten this up just a little bit if I can. Let me see, is it going this way? Oops, sorry, that was a little, that's not bright. There we go. I think that's, whoops, and that's too bright. I'm going to try and get it just right. Is that too blown out, or you guys tell me? Can you guys tell me? What did I do, Janice? What was I saying? It's Monday. Did I say it was Monday? I meant it was Wednesday. I don't know. Where am I? Who are you guys? Where? That's so funny. I can't tell. Does this look okay? I'm going to keep it there for the moment, and then we'll see if it works. Okay. So that's what I've got. Okay. So great. So here are our new buttons that we've got, and you know, Janice and I, we have a deep love of all things vintage glass, and Emily does as well. Emily's a big vintage glass collector, and you know, back in the day when beadshop.com had a brick and mortar, we used to have these really fun trunk shows and all these like fun, cool events, and one of them was on vintage glass. And so that's how I got introduced to kind of these glass buttons. And so the way that these buttons are made today, modern buttons, as well as the way that these buttons were made 100 years ago, right? 150 years ago, right? It's really the same process. Essentially, all of these buttons are made in the Czech Republic, and the way that they're made, it's not really, you'd think, oh, you know, it's an automated, big, fancy factory. It's not really. These are still made by hand. The way that Czech beads and Czech buttons are made, they're called pressed glass. And essentially, probably the molds that these have been made out of are molds that have been around for many, many years. Okay, so the button itself, these buttons are all made with the same molds, but what varies is the glass that they use and the coatings. So I'm going to turn this one over. This is our Rococo button, you can see here. Let me get even tighter so you can really see the beauty of that. You can find these buttons all in our Just In section, very fast and easy to find them because they're brand new if you're watching this live, or on our website, beadshop.com. You can go right to buttons and you can sort all of the different buttons to pull up the Czech buttons. So this is our Rococo. We call this the Rococo style. And it comes in a variety of colorways. We've got the cool vitrail over here. We've got hot vitrail. This one is ruby red and silver. And this one is sapphire and gold. And so if I turn this over, this ruby red and silver, you can see how the color is applied to the back of the button. So what happens is there's a layer of color. Let me see if one, it's kind of easy to see with maybe, I don't know, maybe like this. This is that dragonfly. This is the dragonfly Jonquil Gold. There's a color applied, and then the color in this case is that vitrail here, and then the backing is applied to that. So a lot of times with these colors, the glass is actually clear, and then it's the color that shows through. Like this vitrail, the hot and cool, the glass is exactly the same. Can you see that? But the backing, the vitrail in the cool and the hot are what is making the buttons look different. Okay, it's also really noticeable here on these wheel buttons. Let me open this up so you can see this a little bit more. The wheel, they're all the same color, okay, in glass. They're all a clear glass. And they have that same gold kind of these little knobbies here, and then the black. That's the same on all the buttons. But it's the backing that's applied that makes the color, right? So this is the purple pansy, and you can see they put a color down and then they've backed it with a black coating so it's uniform. So that's the purple pansy. This is the Pacific blue and black, burnt umber and black. And can you see how there's no black coating on the back of that one? Can you see that? And so when I turn it over, it's kind of hard to see on the camera. If I turn it maybe. This one is a little more transparent, and this one's a little more opaque, just because of the coating on the back. Okay? And then this one, this vitrail, warm, the vitrail coating is applied, and then the silver backing is put on the back. Okay? And it's the same with these guys here. Okay? The ruby red, silver, and the sapphire gold, can you see how there's that volcano kind of coating there, but they didn't do any further backing on it? Can you see that? So sometimes the way that they do these, it's just a little different. And sometimes, to be honest, it's the whim of the bead maker, right? So we get these, I'm going to push these to the side a little bit and illustrate that point a little bit more. Now these are some of the ones that we've had in stock previously, okay? And I'm going to show you, this is the Daisy Light Peridot. This is the Dragonfly Jonquil Gold. Oh, so delicious. The Aqua Matte Gold, and then the Volcano Silver. Then we've got the Daisy Betrayal, which is here. The Full Moon Emerald, AB. And then the Star Volcano. And the Star Gold Peach is this one. I grabbed this one too, but I don't think I wrote it down. I'll have to check it and see which one this is. We have so many, but I didn't grab this one. If someone finds the link, either Gita, you, or Janice, I'll keep an eye on the feed so I can announce it. Okay. So with these that we've had previously, let me get in a little bit tighter so you guys can see these. We've had these guys for a while, and sometimes they change up, okay? We get in a batch, and then the company runs out, and they have to wait for several months before they get their fresh batch in. And depending on maybe the type of glass that's used, again, the whim of the button maker, the colors of the backings and stuff that's available, things will change a little bit. And this is, thanks Janice, this is the Flower Star in Aqua Gold. That's what this one is there. Thank you for sharing that link. But I wanted to show like the different glass colors. On this moon face, this is the Full Moon Emerald AB. Can you see here how the glass itself is actually emerald? Okay. If I turn it over, it's that AB coating that's on the front. So you get a little bit of the emerald shining through that AB, but you don't see, it influences how it looks on the top, but you don't really see much of that emerald. Okay, you see it a lot on the back. Now with this guy, this is that, or this one, this is the one I wanted to show, that Star Gold Peach. When we got this one in, I don't know, the first time, it didn't look like this at all. So when we got it, and you may see this one, I don't know if we have this in any projects that you can see it on the finished samples. But when we got it in, it was much more of a kind of a matte gold. So we had to rephotograph them and then put them up on the web. And you can see on the back, it really is kind of a heavy gold coating. And you can see the glass itself, it's kind of hard to see on the side, but the glass itself is clear. Okay, so it's really showing that one through. The Pale Yellow Dragonfly, this one is the Jonquil Gold. And again, this Jonquil, I think when we first got it, it was a little different as well. So the kind of the story to take away from these buttons is that they do change because they are handcrafted, they're handmade, and they are kind of subject to like the glass availability, the coatings availability. So that's just something to note when you're buying these. I don't want to strike fear in your heart, but you know, when these, sometimes when the really popular ones get snapped up, it takes us a while to get back in. These aren't just manufactured in a factory. Well, they are, but they're really manufactured by hand. They're not made to, you know, they're not quickly made. I also wanted to take a moment to talk about the coatings and stuff on these pieces. The coatings are added when the glass is hot. So the coatings that are on here are on here. They're not going to scratch off. I mean, if I used my awl and really tried to get in there and scratch it off, you know, maybe I could. but normal wear and tear for both the front and the back of these buttons are fine. Okay, this cool vitrail, it's so green and purple and delicious. I love it so much. Let's take a look at the sizes of these buttons too, because our new ones are bigger than our smaller ones. The smaller ones that we've carried previously, I believe they're 18 millimeter, but let me get my trusty millimeter gauge. I'm going to re-zero it out. I'll open up the gauge, close it, and again, yeah, they're 18 millimeter. This one is just slightly larger. Make sure I've re-zeroed that. Make sure that's at 0. I'll measure it one more time. Usually when I measure things twice. This is actually, yep, 18.4, 18.5. It's kind of fluctuating back and forth. Let's measure another one just to see for consistency. Because again, you guys, these are made out of different molds, old molds, molds that haven't been calibrated. So see, this one is actually 17.5 millimeters. Okay, so you can see they do vary. We kind of round up or round down depending. This moon face is actually 16.8 millimeters, a little bit smaller, all right? But you've got to remember, you guys, a millimeter is just really almost a scant measurement, so it's not like we're talking the difference between inches here. That one's 18.5, a little bit bigger, okay? Let's measure some of these new ones. This garland button is the only one of its size, and I'm going to raise it up to the camera. Just bask in the beauty of this button. I just can't take it. It's so beautiful. Let me measure it. Let me bring the caliper up. Measure it here. This guy is about 22.5 millimeters. And then for thickness, let's turn it on its side so you guys can see what this looks like here. That's a thickness of about 4.5 millimeters. So this does have some depth to it. Let's measure one of these smaller ones here, just so you get an idea to compare. It's about the same. See the small buttons? They're also about 4.5 millimeters. And I'm doing this kind of on the slope, not in the very center, because the very center has the button shank to it. Let me measure one of these larger beauties here, okay? This one's 26.9. Let me make sure I've got it zeroed out. I do. I just like to zero it. Come in. It's about 26.8 millimeters if we wanted to go ahead and convert that to inches. I could hit my inch button. And it's a little over an inch in length. 1.05 inches. Okay. Yeah, the cool vitrail is making me crazy. It really looks green in the broadcast, but let me see if I turn it a little bit so you can get that purple flash. There you go. Can you see that? That purple flash. Oh, I can't stand it. I love vitrail. Vitrail is a very vintage color. Crystal beads, Swarovski and Czech crystal. You really find, when you find really nice vintage, sometimes you really find a beautiful vitrail that's just gorgeous. Here's the hot vitrail. That one has more of a yellow and orange cast to it. Can you see when I hold it straight that way? We've got a lot of red and orange flash. Let me kind of dip it to the side, and you can see that green, the green undertones that happens. Okay. This one, I wanted to show you these guys. These we're calling the wheel style. This burnt umber and black, it's in extremely limited supply. So we only got a few of these. So if you love it, this I just think is so old-fashioned, this color. And again, these are the same size. Let me just measure it. 27 millimeters, this bad boy right here. And can you see, if I put my hand underneath, you can kind of see that it's slightly transparent there, right? But this one, the Pacific blue and black, or what I like to call it's very Montana blue color, a little more opaque because it has that black painting on the back. Okay, 27 millimeters. Alrighty. Alrighty, so that, those are these guys. And then the backs, this one's kind of hard to see, the back. Let me do this one here. These all have a metal, a little metal loop on the back. Again, added when the button is hot, right? So you can be assured that these aren't going to pop off, right? They're on there for good. Okay. Alrighty, so that's kind of the overview of these guys. Again, handmade in factories using a press. It's probably a two-part mold where the bottom comes in, the hot glass is here, the slag of hot glass, and then the mold comes in and kind of takes the bite out and pulls the button, and then it probably gets dropped. They're probably on the back of that glass. The vitriol foil has been added. Then it's bit, turned over. There's probably either a machine or by hand. In the hot glass, the stem is put on, and then they're sent to a kiln or an oven to be annealed, which means that the temperature is brought down gradually from hot molten glass and cooled so that the glass beads are the buttons rather, are very strong and they won't crack. So they, unless you throw them down on cement, these are really, really heavy duty and have been just made so beautifully. But again, they've been made the same way for, 100 to 150 years, right? So it's really quite amazing. Okay, so I just love them. So let's take a look at some of the samples that we've used these on. Okay, I'm going to push these to the side. Push these beauties to the side. I won't. Don't worry, they're not going far. Okay, but I wanted to share some. I mean, you could use these in any project, really. But I have, Emily has a real affinity for these guys, and I have some projects that we've used them in, and I wanted to share them with you because anytime I think that you have a piece that might need a little bit of fancying up, right? Fancying up. A great way to do it is with one of these Czech glass buttons. Now, we were mentioning earlier, and I think this got linked, that the Star Gold Peach, Emily did this on one of her ombre peyote stitch bracelets. Let me get in a little bit tighter, okay? You can see this was the button formerly known as Star Gold Peach. And this is the button, sorry, I'm a little off there, let me center that. This is the button that's the current Star Gold Peach, okay? And it's even a little, look at the mold that they used. It's the same on top, almost the same, but you can see this mold is a little higher with a little higher domed. Hard to see on the camera, but it's different. So they can change. So like they say with lots of, dyed yarns or different things that you get that, aren't really, mass produced on a giant scale, things might change depending on what's available. Okay, so old Star Gold Peach, new Star Gold Peach. And when we get our next batch of them, who knows what they're going to look like. Okay. So this is a project that Emily did a while back. And like I was saying earlier with this peyote stitch bracelet, anytime you want to fancy something up, a good way to do that is with a Czech glass button. It has an immediate vintage appeal to it, I think, and it just adds a little bit of glam and glimmer, I think. Right? I just love them. So this one, and I know that Gita and Janice will link the projects, but this was, again, our ombre peyote stitch. And we have, we did several of them. We did some with metal buttons and some, and this is a flat peyote, I believe, Janice. It's not a loomed project. It's an off loom, I believe. But you can see the ombre series here. We use some with the metal buttons, but look at this one. If I put in this volcano, let me get in a little bit tighter. This daisy vitrail, rather. I mean, come on, you guys. Look at how beautiful. I mean, that changes the whole personality of this piece, doesn't it? I mean, gorgeous. I could also put it on the color that's next to it. Look at how it goes beautifully with that one, right? It really gives it some drama. You could, just with the ones that I have sitting here, let's see how this, you could introduce a new color to the piece. That's the jonquil. It really shows up beautifully. This guy, look at that. That, I think, is gorgeous. That, let me widen it out a little bit here, right? That, that's the Dragonfly Aqua Matte Gold. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. So one of the things that we try and give you, and some of you in the little survey that Karen did on our Facebook group, she asked about, do you guys use the recipe page? Now, we don't have a recipe page for everything, right? Moving forward in this past year and a half, we've created what's called the recipe page. And so for those of you who want to strike out designing your own, or if we're out of stock on some projects or products in a project, and, you know, let me take just a minute to say we do our darndest to keep everything in stock. But beads, you guys, are, they're not like mass produced, you know, in a big factory like, I don't know, like rolling cars off an assembly line, or I don't know, whatever's, you know, easily reproduced, right? Sometimes it takes a while to get those pieces back in. So if you see things that are out of stock, or if you need to kind of make your substitutes, the recipe is a great way to help choose your own adventure with these things, right? So like this one, let's take, for example, this one that had the Star Gold Peach on it, right? Let's say that you're moving along and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this. Oh, look, gosh darn it, that bead shop, they're out of that Star Gold Peach again. Well, what the heck am I going to do? Well, I would go consult the recipe and then click over to the whole catalog, the whole category rather, and I'd start looking. And I would say, again, I must have vitriol on my mind. It's just crazy. This one's actually volcano rather than vitriol. This is the volcano silver. That looks beautiful. This one is the star volcano, and this volcano is a little greener than this purple volcano. Or I could use, look at that, I could introduce again a new color, and peridot is just a gorgeous color. For those of you who have August birthdays, that's your birthstone. Right, Jenna's just mentioned like white t-shirts. Yes, white t-shirts come off the assembly line, you know, thousands of t-shirts a day. Not these beads, not so much. Okay, so try your hand at some substitutions. If you're like, you know what, no, I just don't want to do my own substitutions, that's when you email our customer service. You email info@customer service, and Drea will help, or she'll forward it over to one of us, and we will help you, you know, how we do it. So Janice is asking, can I show us the button on top of the button loop? Sure. I think, Janice, you mean like this, maybe? I think that's what you're meaning. So I'll just move them over. That looks real pretty. Look at that. Let's put this one there for fun. And let's sub this one and put this guy in. Okay. So you can see, you can sub like crazy, right? It's really exciting. Okay. So, there it is. Okay. Oh, our friend Meredith from Bead, our dear Meredith is there. It's great to have you, Meredith, to see you. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe I'll get to see you in Tucson. I hope so. I hope so, hope so. Let me put these guys aside, and I just want to show you just real quick the other big bracelet that Emily did. This is the herringbone bracelet, I think. That's what she did. It was a seed bead school a while ago. And again, it really makes kind of a plainer, look at this. This was a bold choice. Janice and I both were like, wait a minute. We just thought, that's just crazy, Emily, putting that, that sapphire there. But look at how beautiful it just stands out amongst the white of this beautiful piece, right? So I could, again, if sapphire, my birthstone, isn't for you, look at how that beautiful star aqua looks. Thank you, brick stitch. Thank you. Sorry, it was in the bag, you guys, with the herringbone stitch. So that's why I had herringbone stitch on the mind. See, I took it out of this bag right here. There's the herringbone stitch one there. Oops. Whoops. So yes, it's the brick stitch. Sorry about that. Thank you, Donna, for your correction. And then something like this one, Emily used one of the shell buttons for this, but we could gussy it up. Again, I'm going to take that daisy vitrail and put it right there. Look at that. Or we also have, I think this is the daisy like light sapphire or something. I hope we have them in stock. I didn't even check. But that one would also look beautiful on that. Okay. So, you know, choose a check button and gussy up your design. This one was also beautiful. The orange, gorgeous, gorgeous, I think. That's this one here. And I think it just looks nice with these half tilas, and then I think it's the chartreuse green Picasso seed bead here. All of the ingredients lists for these pieces are on the project sheet, so you can see exactly what we've used. I'm going to show you as well, we saw the buttonhole closure for this one, and you can go back in and check it out, you know, in the broadcast. I think it works out really nicely here. But this project here with the brick stitch, okay, the brick stitch bracelet, you can see the way that Emily closed it. She did it with just a loop, a size 11 seed bead loop. I'm going to get a little bit tighter here. And that seed bead loop just falls right over the button, just like that, right? So you can adjust it a little bit. You could make this loop a little larger if you needed to make that bracelet fit you a little bit better. Okay, so it's a nice closure for this. Okay, and speaking of looped buttons, I'm going to click over on my computer. I'm going to click over onto Bead Shop, onto the projects, because I need to check and see what the name of this project is. I thought I had it in my head, and I don't think I did, though I can just flash it and show you guys. And I'm sure that Drea and Gita and Janice are all faster than I am. This guy, that's the one that I think has the white AB button on it. And this one is the Gatsby necklace. That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. And the Gatsby, that was a fun one to make. And it's the Daisy, it's the white transparent AB is the button that I have on the back here. But we've strung this on the nylon coated wire beading cable. In this case, we strung it on soft flex. You could string it on thread, but this one is a perfect one for that nylon wire beading cable. And we did a similar closure like we did here, okay? Only we did it, we strung it a little bit differently. You can watch the whole episode and download the episode notes for the particulars on this. It can be found in Softflex 101, but Drea, I think it's its own on the Facebook Live is what I was looking at. It's its own episode, and it was on 12/20/17 was the Gatsby necklace. And so you can see the way that I've made this. The nylon coated wire beading cable is coming up, I actually started on the button side. Let's get that right, because we have to have the button in place before we do the loop. And we've got everything coming through. I think it's crimped off here, and some, maybe a couple of strands, one strand or two strands are taken away. Comes up and through the button, and see how, let me get a little tighter. Just like this, okay? And you can see that I've created the loop, okay? So that loop is created just by covering using the seed beads, though I could have also used a wire guard as well, would have worked. Then it comes back down and gets crimped and closed there. And then on the other side, we just made the loop to match that button like that, and again created the same way. You can see the 3 strands, 2 strands come up here, a couple of seed beads, add the 3rd strand in. Everything is strung under these 8/0, and then everything is crimped off here. Okay, then strands are reduced, brought through the loop, and crimped a final time. Okay, and let's see, there was a quick question. I'm not sure if you have it out, but I got an email this morning about loomed bracelets and these buttons, and I think someone mentioned looming here earlier too in the comments. Loomed bracelet and these buttons. You know, I don't know, Drea. Let me see. Did I use it for this one? I'm going to see what I used. Hang on a second. No, oh, yeah. Is it this one? This was, when we did the monthly mix, I did an ombre loomed bracelet, right? And so I used it, that check button here for this project here, right? I think maybe that's what you were talking about. This is a great one. You know, you could do your own mix. I'm going to get up close with this because I want you guys to see this. We used the monthly mix, okay, for this one. It was the monthly mix, I don't know, it was last spring, I think, right? It looks springy to me. And I'm going to click on monthly mixes. If you go to the monthly mix page on it's the Rainbow Sherbet mix. And you go and you click on the monthly mix and you're all, wait a minute, how come it's not there? Okay, what you can do is we list, if you go into the product, you can find everything that's in there. So if you go into the Rainbow Sherbet, you can see that the beads are all listed. Okay, so you can recreate this mix on your own. You just need to make full tubes. Okay, but you could also make your own ombre of this. What did I use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different kinds of 8/0, right? So you could do some kind of an ombre here. And then I used a melon bead for the sides, and then I used a 1mm surfer cord. So you could kind of, you know, again, like I like to say, choose your own adventure from this, right? But this, I think this project, I need to make another one of these. I love it so much. And the way that I just use the ultra suede on the ends, stitch that button on, and then use the surfer cord coming out here. It comes out from the edges here, goes under the ultra suede, and gets knotted off. I think it's just gorgeous, gorgeous. So don't despair, you know, if you see the monthly mix out, just mix some of your own, right? Or the list is there, and you can have your own take on it. But that's what this guy is with that button. Let's move on to the last one I wanted to show you on this. And then, gosh, then I've got to start. We can talk about this stuff all day, right? But I've got to pick up the pace here if we're ever going to continue with our day here. But I wanted to show you, this one is our fortune teller, I think. And it does, Janice did this one, we did this one while, I'm sorry, it's setting the mood. Mood, and it's called Blue Moon. That's what it is. And you can see Janice chose a check glass button, though we may actually be out of these guys. These have not been available to us for a while. But just as easily, look, I could put that moon face in there, right? Or I could put this star volcano in there, right? So you don't have to wait for this guy, though I do. Gorgeous. But it's a great one, and she shows how she does that. She actually starts this one with a macrame loop, adds a green girl charm, and then ends it with that beautiful check glass button. Okay, so I did want to mention, someone mentioned here earlier doing some bead embroidery with these guys. Okay, so I just wanted to show you real quick how this might be done if you're working on bead embroidery with one of these buttons. And I've got the Pacific blue and black here along with the ultra suede in silver pearl right here. I grabbed that one. And I have my beloved pin that I wear all the time. This was from our bead embroidery episode, okay? And you can see I use some ultra suede on the back. But this button would be a great one to use for this. Instead of, I'm going to pull this one here. This was from this was the sample that Emily was working on. You could just adhere it straight to your ultra suede and embroider around it. You could also, the hole isn't empty, but you could set this on top like this and glue this down so it's a multi kind of level piece. This is our 40 millimeter pie. This is in pyrite, the pyrite pie. On mine, I used the sodalite, and then I glued an I Ching over the top. But you could just put something like that right in the center. Look how that just falls right into place. Look at that. It's crazy. Gorge. But let's say that I wanted to just use this as my center and peyote, or embroider around it. You can see with bead embroidery, and again, you can go back to the episode and watch more particulars, and I'm going to have more bead embroidery coming up soon, that you first start out, the ultra suede is 2 layers, okay? But you want to add this button, you want to glue this down onto your ultra suede. So that necessitates, you could do a couple of things with this, right? If you didn't want to close off the loop, right, or cut the loop away, you could make just a tiny hole in your ultra suede, and then when you lay your second piece of ultra suede on top, that shank will come up through there, and you could use it to connect. You know, you could make it like a big button or a big piece of embellishment, or you could have, you know, the shank come up in the middle, and then you could put your pin just above that. So you can kind of make it kind of a dual purpose kind of a thing. But if we're closing these off, okay, we want to use a really heavy duty wire cutter. And I'm going to get in a little tighter here. We want to be careful because we don't want to break the button. Okay, so I'm going to come in, these are my Zurons. I'm going to come in, and I'm not going to let the Zurons touch the back of the button. I'm going to come in just above it, and I'm going to cut. Hold my hand over the top so that little loop doesn't hit me in the head. Okay, and can you see what I've got there? I've got the shank off the back, and I could come in, it was actually pretty soft wire, so I'm going to come back in and go a little closer. There we go. Now it's a little more flush. Now this is ready. See how it sits flush on there? It's ready to glue in place. So in anticipation of me bead embroidering, I'm going to glue it into place. E6000, it's a brand new one. We sell these E6000s in such tiny tubes, which is great. You know, you can pick up a couple to toss into your, just into your craft bag. Just like the Zap glue, this E6000 is very inexpensive. I'm going to extrude a little bit out on this piece of paper so I can control it. A baggie or a piece of paper, whatever. You can get a little napkin before you put this away. Just wipe around the top. Good glue management will always hold you well in the long run. All right, now we can put this aside. You also want to make sure that you're using this E6000 in a well-ventilated area because, ooh, it is stinky. Okay, so I'm going to come in, and I just want to, I don't need to really worry about this at this point, but if your bead or your button rather is directional like this one is, I'm just going to make sure that I'm kind of gluing it correctly in a direction that makes sense. I don't want to kind of skew it off, but you know, I could cut this however I wanted to, but I'm just kind of aware of that. Now I'm going to get my toothpick. I'm going to come in. And I'm going to add the glue in the well of the button. Oh, it's really started to rain here, you guys. I can hear the rain. California is always grateful when rain comes. Now I'm bringing this E6000 right up to the lip. And since it's come out of the tube, it's starting to set up just slightly, which is what I want, right? I don't want it to drip all over the place. But I'm bringing that glue just up to the lip of that button. Filling it, being very careful not to get glue all over my hands or my ultra suede or my table. You can't rush gluing, just like you can't rush putting on a clasp. This is not something that you want to be tired when you're doing. You want to take a moment to make sure that you're really mindful about that glue placement, okay? So then I'm going to check it. And it looks pretty good to me. I see a little opening there that I want to add glue to. But I don't want the glue to go cascading too much over the side. Now it's getting pretty tacky. So it's about time, and that rim of glue is going to come in and adhere to the ultra suede. Okay, I'm turning this down, turning it over, again being mindful of where I'm placing it, and I'm just going to let it rest. And it's on there. That extra glue has come out, but you know, come to the edge, but I haven't gotten glue, you know, all over my ultra suede, because if I got glue around it, it'd be very difficult to stitch through it later. Okay, so I'm going to place this aside, and that's it. You'll see this come back someday. Not quite yet. All right, but that's how we do it. Okay, then later we'll come in and, you know, we'll do all of the fun bead embroidery about that, but I'm going to set that to the side. The last thing I want to show you before I sign off is there's an episode that I'm going to have Drea and Janice link for you. It's and Gita, it's the Facebook Live episode where I work on rings. It's not Facebook Live, I'm sorry, it was Free Tip Friday, I believe. I played around with rings and buttons, which was a really fun one. They make such quick and easy gifts. But I wanted to share one more thing with you. And that's how to create little dangles with these guys. You know, there's a class that Janice and I used to teach back in the brick and mortar days of beadshop.com. No, brick and mortar days of the bead shop, not beadshop.com. And it was called Treasure Necklace. And Janice made one that kind of honored all of the treasures and the little things that she collected from her mother. I made one that kind of honored all the things that I saved with my gran. And I've had one that I've been making for my mom for the last 20 years with all of her treasures. Someday I need to get that thing out and finish it on a Facebook Live, because I think you guys would love to make one too. And a lot of the components in those pieces were buttons, and I created charms with the buttons. And so I wanted to show you, because these are such beautiful works of art that it's fun to sometimes just kind of showcase them as is. But it can be a little daunting about how to turn this into a charm. So I wanted to show you. I've got some 20 gauge wire here. And the 20 gauge is a great size for this, because it'll hold up to kind of the weight of the button. And you could do this with the large button or the small button. I'm going to go again with this Dragonfly Aqua Matte Gold. And then I've got 20 gauge non-tarnish wire here, or para-wire. And I'm just going to come in, give myself a little bit of a straightening with my wire straightening plier, and I'm going to cut away a piece of wire there. And you're asking me, I know what you're asking me, Kate, how long is that wire? I don't know. What I'm going to say is it's long enough. I'll tell you how long it is. It's a little over 6 inches, maybe about 7 inches. Might be a little long. Okay. Now I've pulled these beads. These are things that Janice and I, we've gotten back in, because they are like essentials in our design world. It's the round beads with a large hole. And I know you're like, I've never seen those before. Well, they're there. I promise you. And this is a 3 millimeter. We have them in gold filled and in sterling, and in 4 millimeter gold filled and in sterling. And the hole in these, you guys, is huge. It's a staple for your bead box. And I'm going to put it just on the tip of my awl. You can see how far up the awl it goes. So these would fit, I would say, even on probably a 16 gauge wire. Let me get my 18 gauge and see if it fits on there. It does indeed. I think 18 is probably the max that this goes. Okay. And you know what? Did I cut 18 or did I cut 20? I can't tell. It's 20 gauge that I cut. Okay. So that 3 millimeter and the 4 millimeter there. So what I'm going to do to start with the end of this 20 gauge, and I'm going to get right up tight here so you guys can see. And again, I'm creating a charm for this. And, whoops, I've lost your comments here. Sorry. Let me, there we go. Oh, and my mom just said that my mom might like to have her treasure necklace. Well, it's really true. It's all together. I really will show it. We'll have to do a Facebook Live on it. The treasure necklace is so fun. And I'm sure Janice still has hers that she made too. Okay. So I'm going to start at the very end with my chain nose. I'm going to grab the end and I'm going to make a little twirl. Can you see how it's like a little tiny C? I'm going to come in and I'm going to smush that C together. Smush is a technical term. Now I can give myself a little bit of coil, or I could leave it just like that. Let me get a little higher to the camera. Can you see that there? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out the side, have a little bit of that. I'll make a little bit of a coil. Not a lot, and you've seen me do this before. I'm not going to go over it too much today because our time is a little limited, but just making a tiny little tight coil is nice. Then I'm going to come in, I'll center that coil on underneath the wire by grabbing it in the center, the side of my plier, pushing that wire up towards you guys, and pointing it away over towards the camera across the table from me. And then I give it a little pinch. So can you see now how I have that nice coil there? There, you guys can see that pretty well. All right. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to get this 3 mil. I'm going to see what's going to fit the best, which is why I want my 3 millimeter and my 4 millimeter beads here. Okay. Oh gosh, there they all go. Wait, come back. Come back, 4 millimeter beads. Oh, come on now. Unruly little monsters. Not as unruly as Alfred, but unruly nonetheless. There we go. So I'll start maybe with a 3 millimeter. I'm going to put that on. And I'm going to slide the button on. And what I'm going for here, I'm going to turn it to the side so you can see this. What I'm going for here is something to stabilize this. So see how that 3 millimeter is a little too small. It doesn't really come up against the bead here. It just kind of makes things move around. So I'm going to put on a 4 mil and let's see what that looks like. That is very funny, Jeanette. Jeanette just commented, someone needs a beading mat. It is true. My kingdom for a beading mat, right? Isn't that funny? All right, I put the 4 mil on. And there we go. Can you see? I'll turn it to the side. I've got that 3 millimeter kind of down at the bottom to give myself a little taper. But see how that 4 millimeter is taking up the extra space there? So it's going to give a nice tight grip. Now I'm going to put another 4 mil on the other side. Check it. Yep, look at that. Sits perfectly. turn it to the side. And I need to clear the button. So if I wanted to clear the button and have the spiral a little further down here, I'd put another 3 or 4 millimeter bead here. And I need it to clear up here. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me give myself another 4 mil. I have a 3 mil on the bottom just for a nice taper. Now another 4 mil. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. Then another 4 millimeter. Oh, I love these gold-filled beads so ever so much. Foam bead mats. Drea, are you putting that link in for me so I go get one? There you go. So can you see how, look, I'm going to turn this to the side so you can see it. See how the big 4 millimeters sit on the inside of the bead, and that 3 millimeter fits perfectly right around the edge. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing up top here and add another 3 millimeter. I'm going to go ahead and put these wayward 4 mils away because you know what they're going to do. You know what they're going to do. On my bead matless surface, they're going to roll away. Let me get a 3 mil out here. I know, you're putting it up for everybody. I'm just teasing you. Janice asked me, do I care which direction the dragonfly is going? I don't know. Maybe. I kind of like the dragonfly flying down, but you could have the dragonfly flying up. Just depends on what you dig. I think I'm going to have the dragonfly flying down. You decide. Now, this is where you've got to make sure when you do this wire wrap, everything is tight. Okay? So let me get in tight. Tight, tight. Turn it around the back, and we're just going to wire wrap this. I'm going to come in with my chain nose, push it up so it's pretty firm against those beads so nothing is really wiggling around so much. Okay? Bend over that head of the tool, so I'm going to leave a little neck, and that neck is what I'm going to come back and wire wrap around. So I'm going to come in, loop around my round nose plier. Now if this were a charm and maybe it was something that, I don't know, if I were doing this on a zipper pull or something like that, maybe I'd want a double loop. So I'm going to come around again, open my tool, reposition it back down. I actually want to do it this way so that the loop sizes match. There we go. So see how I've just wrapped that around twice? Gives me a little more of a substantial bail there. Now I'm going to come in, I want to get this tight so you guys can see it. I'm going to wrap from the bottom of the loop to the top of the bead. Okay, coming in, and I'm wrapping, and see as I make my wraps, see how everything is tightening up. I'm going to wrap a little bit more until it's tight. I want to have just the tiniest of spaces there so the end of my wire will have a place to tuck in. Because again, though this is a the shank on this button is metal, I want to be careful not to, I don't want to chip anything, though I don't think I will with this button. It's very sturdy. I've cut away my extra. Now I'm going to use my bent chain nose plier to come in and just, sorry, let me get in frame here. Sorry about that. Just get that little wire piece right in without smashing the button, without smashing my metal bead, and without I'm going to line everything up here without scratching the button. There we go. Look at that, you guys. So see how nothing's wiggling around. So if I turn this up front, you can see I've got a lovely little charm. This would also make a beautiful earring. All I would have to do is slap an ear wire on that loop. Or it would look great as the end of a lariat. You can add it to chain, you know, a charm, whatever. All right? So that is just how we make a button into a charm. And you could make it into a component if you have a loop on one side, and instead of the bottom here, you'd have a loop on this side as well. Okay? So you could do that with a larger piece, and you could have a bigger centerpiece like that, and you could base a necklace off of this. Okay? So I love it. I loving using these buttons in that manner. Okay? I'm going to give the shout out to Karen, because Karen, we're going to wrap this show. I hate to leave you guys, but we've got stuff to do. Right, Cara? Cara's all, yeah, we do. So I'm going to hand everything over to, I'm going to hand this over to KK right here. There we are. Sorry about the rumblings of the camera there, you guys. Handing it to Karen, and we're going to go ahead and get this show. Close up this, and Karen gonna hand you the thing there. Alrighty, so I think that was fun. I hope you guys had fun with the Czech buttons. We talked about how the buttons are made and the new ones that we have and how we use them on different bracelet closures, and last but not least, how to create it into a little charm. This would be a great pair of earrings. Maybe I'll wire wrap another one. I guess that's it. It's our last one here, you guys. Yeah, anything? Anyone? Crickets, right? Crickets. Is this thing on? Can you guys hear me?
It may be kind of late,
yeah.
But I try, just so they know,
oh, sure.
I try and make sure that I get 2 photos now.
Okay.
One on the side and one facing on for the buttons that do change colors on
great.
the site.
Oh, that's great to know, Karen. So when you guys look at, just so everyone
with
heard
the
that
newer
from
buttons.
Karen, with the newer buttons, Karen is photographing these checks so that they have, you can kind of see that color change. That's awesome. That's because you are amazing with the product. So I'm going to let you guys know that we have buttons in stock now, and if you're making orders, we thank you ever so much. But orders that are going to be placed currently, that means today, and if you're watching this live, it applies to this crazy moving week here in the middle of January 2019. If you're watching this later, we're in our new space. We're back to normal, knock wood. But if you're making any orders this week, which we really appreciate that you do, and we really appreciate your support on this, while we're moving, orders starting today on through probably next Thursday, Friday, we're not going to be shipping. So your orders will be safe, your product and merchandise will be safe, but during that time, fulfillment is going to stop because we're taking everything off these walls, putting it in a giant truck, and literally driving it about 1.5 miles down the road. So we're going to do it. So, but again, we really appreciate your patience. If you've made an order earlier, you want to check on the status or whatever, you can always email us at info@beadshop.com. But we're getting everything out as fast and as quickly and as accurately as we can. So we really appreciate your support during this big move. Next week, you guys, while we are putting things back on the walls, Janice and Drea are going to be coming at you live from the East Coast. Janice has a great show planned. She is going to delve into her special world of pearl knotting, and she's going to be using bullion wire, or some of you call it French wire, to do the closures on those pieces. And it is a work of art the way she does it. So another kind of old school offering that'll be a really great educational broadcast for you guys. As always, you guys, you can find everything beadshop.com over on our website, coincidentally, beadshop.com. You can stay in touch with us via our newsletter. All things move. We are going to be putting photos in that newsletter, updates in the newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for it, go to beadshop.com, put it in the newsletter. Your privacy is super important to us, so we never share it, sell it, give it away. It all stays here with us, your information. Also, if you want to see the projects that we do, the ingredients lists, all of that stuff, you click over to projects on beadshop.com. You click through the project to the individual samples. You'll see everything there listed. There's full ingredients lists. A lot of times there are recipes. And if you have any questions about what you should use, if you want to substitute, again, you can always email us. Well, it's with an excited but a little bit of a sad heart that I sign off for the last time from our offices here at 1755 here in Redwood City. We are going to be so excited, though, to share our new space with you, and we'll start it off our first Facebook Live back. We'll do a little tour and stuff for you guys so you can see it. So next week, you'll be with Janice and Drea, and as I'm sure you can guess, there's no Free Tip Friday this week either. I'll be knee-deep in putting beads in boxes. So again, thank you. Karen, thanks you for all of your feedback for the web, and the whole staff. We really appreciate your support during this time. So, all right, guys. Cheers. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.